so you organize them, and you go in, and is that part of your message to the workers that say, hey, listen, we're the defenders of the middle class, and you're part of the middle class? Or does that even come into the discussion, or is it understood? Or, what's going on with that idea? A lot of people want to be the defenders of the middle class, even Republican presidents. You know what I mean?
Right. I think with the ones that we're organizing, they find that it's an education process. That's the first thing we try to do, is educate them that you do have certain rights. You have the National Labor Relations Board if you're in the private industry, and which these recent ones were. So they were allowed to have a democratic vote to decide whether they wanted the Teamsters to represent them or not, and they chose the Teamsters because of the efforts of our organizers. Antoine Brown and Jason Pedroza, I think, were the ones that had both of those campaigns up, and they did a great job of educating them. And there are rights for workers, whether they're union or not, if they're working in the private industry.
219-845-1100. I'm interested in what some of you folks have to think, either union or non-union. The message of the Teamsters is that they are defenders of the middle class. Do you think that'll work? At 219-845-1100. Are they the defenders of the middle class? Let's put it out right now. Let's go to the first call. Here it is at 9:15 on April 10th of 2012. And get your calls in now. 219-845-1100. What's your opinion on this? Ryan, what are you doing? I'm getting ready to go to that one. And here we go. Hey, you're on the air. What's up?
Good morning, and thanks for bringing some Teamsters in to represent, as they said, we're not just about unions, we're about the middle class. And I am absolutely 100% pro-union from Northwest Indiana. I'm astounded at how many people who come from one of our many strong unions from back in the day have now have nothing to do with it or remember their roots. But most of us have sprung from Gary Hammond, Whiting in East Chicago, from the refinery, from the mills, from Teamsters, from the trades. It's what was fundamental to Northwest Indiana, and I believe in the fundamental strength of unions moving forward. I would like for you to simply explain to someone whether they're pro or not, someone who has no idea about why it is important to be a member of the union if you so choose, but more importantly, why a business would choose that. This attack on right to work is insane legislation as far as I'm concerned, is 100% assault on middle-class workers. And unions are important, and they're integral to maintaining a portion of the middle class. So can you kind of really just break it down? Why union versus non-union if I'm looking for a job? And more importantly, why does Calumet Breweries decide that they want their trucking and warehouse people to be union?
All right, hang up and listen, Jen. All right, let's go with that. And I'm gonna couch this in here. I had a guy by the name of Kevin Brinegar on here a lot. He's the head of the State Chamber of Commerce, and he positioned the question that unions were anti-business, and that would, if we got rid of union strength here in Indiana, that we would make it more business friendly. What do you think about that?
Well, I have one thing to say to that. We have many employers, probably upwards near over 200 employers that are signatory with us. And there's many of those employers that wouldn't have it any other way. Once they became union, they found out that there's a benefit to that employer as well. We could provide health insurance cheaper than they can provide it themselves. We have a huge fund out of Central States, and there's so many participants that we could provide that health insurance for their employees a lot cheaper, in some cases saving them 25 to 50% even. And then there's other things. We keep the play fair in the workplace. So the rules are applied fairly and equally to everybody. A lot of them say, I don't even need an HR person anymore because I got you guys to keep us fair with our workers. So one of their management people doesn't pick on one or two of the employees. We straighten that out for them. So there's many reasons I think employers don't have a problem with us being in there. We're not the bad guys. We don't have horns. We don't go in there and beat them up. Yeah, when it comes to negotiation time, we're tough with them because we want to get as much as we can from that employer to put in the pockets of our members.
What about training, Harvey?
Training, well,
Get on the microphone or I'm going to slap you in the back. Right, there you go.
well, as far as training, when you look at the trains, we just put up that training center in Maryville, and most of our workers are highly skilled and trained to do their jobs, and most of us, that's what we want to do. We want to go to work every day, do the best we can, and go home. And our contracts provide for the benefits and the wages to go along with that.
But in terms of an employer, in other words, some of the larger employers or larger construction company guys that I'll have come through here when the right to work issue was going on, and I want to say I had, what's his name in here? Construction Advancement Foundation guy. I can't think of his name, but anyways, and we had some other big construction guys, and I know a lot of guys that own companies and so forth, and they'll pull me aside and say, well, I don't know how popular this would be for me to say this publicly, but I want my workforce to be union. It takes a lot of my headaches away. Mm-hmm. And I don't know as if that, through all of this right to work thing, which did put a focus on unions and what their worth is and what your guys' worth is, I don't know as if that was necessarily brought out that much. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, and I understand what he's talking about, because when they're union, it creates a level playing field. Every employer has to play by the same rules and the same benefit package and the same wage package. It makes it easier for them when they go in to bid on these jobs, knowing that their competitor is in the same boat as they are when it comes to bidding on these jobs.